Hi everybody. I normally talk Danish on this account, but I think the story needs to be told. It is a time where truth are coming out in a lot of countries, and a lot of women are putting them out there and trying to tell the story, and not many listen, and not much justice is being done. And all I can do is just share my story and where I'm at in life, and I'm gonna tell my story with human trafficking in English this time, for those who are ready to hear. And I will say this is not for small children. I will actually explain my story also, so people understand what kind of people are like targeted, or like who this stuff more easier happens to, because we don't have family that miss us or will protect us, or financial money ourselves. I don't know if I was targeted, if this was planned, but I will tell my story from the guy I've been with, and what happened. Because the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that there's a man selling people. Men buy women and men sell women often. It's not often that women just grow up and dream of becoming prostitutes. That's not how it happens. I know there's a lot of glorification in the media, and there is some girls starting, and they start off with being cam girl strippers and then sugar babes, and then it becomes like really hardcore because they find out it's just like sugar coating. It is what it is. So I know some girls go into the sex business, but the truth is most girls are lured in by men who want to buy them or want to sell them. So this is why I'm talking. And I have experience with both, and my story in sex business started through human trafficking. And people always have a lot of questions. Either they don't want to hear or believe, or they have questions like, why did you let it happen? How did it happen? Why didn't you go earlier? So I'm gonna make this video and explain it all, and you're welcome. If you still have some questions, you can I'm an open book. You can ask me anything, and I will try to answer best possible. Just please be kind. Please don't try to judge, even though it probably is hard. But yes, I'm gonna tell you about my story first. I was born in Poland. I was not planned and not really wanted. There was no mother and no father from the beginning. I had a grandmother, and when I was born, my mother already was in the sex business, in the night business, in the partying, drugs, alcohol business, whatever she would like to call it. She would probably not be as honest as I am about her past, but she was in the sex business. What I understand from all this, my mother was a prostitute, and my father was a customer, and may he rest in peace. And my mom, I don't speak with her. She is still alive, but I have given her many chances, and I cannot have this woman in my life because she's not repentant. She's not sorry. She's not acknowledging all the neglect she has caused me and harm she has caused me through her life and her life choices. So I forgive, but I let go. But to get back to the story, the first 7 years of my life, I actually grew up with my grandmother in Poland. We were all poor, but she was a good, loving mom. May she also rest in peace. She is dead. She died when I was 13. And yeah, when you don't have parents, when you don't have financial stability from the beginning, you are like, I don't want to like victim blame me or others, but we are like, if you are a young girl, woman, don't have money, don't have family support, maybe you don't have love in your life, and don't think you deserve more, because if even your own mother and father could not love you and be there for you, you take what you get. And that is my mistake in all this. It's not always like in movies that it's just like a van and it's just kids. It's also big kids. It's also young adult women. And it happens a lot of times through like men trying to earn the trust from young girls, becoming their savior, their boyfriend. I thought I was so stupid. I let this happen to me, but I found out I am not special. I am not stupid. This happens to a lot of girls in exactly kind of same way it happened to me. Today, a lot of it just happens more hidden, more like it can happen on the internet. You don't have to even, these men who want to buy a woman don't even have to go around on the street, look for poor homeless girls. They can find them on the internet. And that's how my human trafficker found me. So I laid it all out for him. I had an internet profile, dating internet site in even more than one site, and I've been dating, writing, texting with men and looking for love. And I was tired of every time men found out I was broke or didn't have a family or was struggling mentally or physically, because I have struggled a lot even before this. So I just like that maybe was also a mistake of me. I made a profile where it was obvious I was alone, sick and desperate, where I said everything. At that time, I think they had like borderline personality disorder written on me. And I said it, I'm mentally ill, I'm lonely, I have no friends, no family, I'm not sure if I'm ready for a relationship, but I'm just looking for somebody. And really I was looking for like everything. I was looking for a partner, a friend, and a father, everything in this one figure, in this one person. And that was also my mistake, that I was like looking for a savior in one person. Probably, even though I did not say it to him, he knew I had nothing. I was desperate, and I was a good giving soul and a helpful soul. And if I had the last penny on me, I would share it. And I was texting, messaging with this man, and you know, in the beginning there was like the only sign I should have been looking at in the beginning, it was not that he was like obviously a big criminal, he was obviously a pimp, or it was obvious he had other prostitutes or other girls he saw. Nothing of that. I'm in Denmark, he was a local, he was a Dane, he seemed to come from a okay family, as he said himself. His mother and father was good. When he was now working, he was welcome at his mother's and father's place, and they were helping him. And he was not, obviously, at least not a drug addict. And yeah, I was naive and stupid and hopeful, and he was a manipulative personality. He was very like good at being kind and charming and have an answer for everything, fast and smart. And he was around 10 years older than me. I was 21 when I started texting with him online, and I was already again in my life homeless, again in the middle of a situation where I was like getting some, like in Denmark you got a little bit money to go to school, but I was starting to not being able to manage going to school. I just left up. I just like not, I was not divorced, but I was just single after being with one man 3 years. That also was a toxic relationship. He was not selling me, but he was toxic. He was controlling. He was trying to change me. He forced me to have sex with him way too early without protection, and then he forced me to get an abortion. So after this relationship, I was already like pre-groomed already a bit by my mother, and the way she treated me, and the way she lived life, and how she spoke about men, and how she survived in life. And then this boyfriend before I ended in human trafficking. I am not a drug addict. I was not then either. I was not promiscuous like party girl, as some people think it's because they just give themselves around too much and become prostitutes like that. It's not how it happens. This man who ended as my trafficker, he was my third boyfriend, and the two before him were a relationship that lasted for 3 years. And I am a faithful person. When I'm your girlfriend, I'm your girlfriend. I'm trying to do my best, even though I'm hurting, even though I don't have much energy, because I just so much wanted to be loved, and I still do. It's like a human condition. We just want to be loved, and when we are not loved, we sometimes put our love on people who don't deserve it. And that's what I did. And the only thing, like, that is clearly my mistake is that I trusted this guy and opened my heart and my everything to this man. And we started meeting and hanging out, and he was older, and he was very sexual. He was a swinger, and I was just curious and learning, and I just wanted to like be loved. And he tried to tell me that relationship don't last because you cannot be you need to have sex in a relationship, and he found a way for him. He was a swinger, and that is the way he could in any way believe that anybody could last the rest of the life if they were swingers, because they kept like this relationship on fire. The sex was very important for him, and in some ways it was not for me and did not make sense, but in some ways he was like really persuasive and older and better spoken than me, and the only human at the time using time on me, and sometimes picking me up, even took me out for drinks or took me out for something to eat. So he didn't like, it's not as easy to see in some movies, like, you know, you're like yelling at the TV, run, go the other way, why even going after this horrible dude. It's not like that in real life. Not always, at least. He did have his kind and nice moment. He doesn't look dangerous, at least he didn't at that time. And the grooming started already with him grooming me sexually, with like me feeling I had to have sex with him for him to want to see me again, and that it was very important for him. And yeah, I probably just too much just wanted to be loved, and I already then should have stopped, because this swinger community, this life he was living, that was very sexual based and very like, he had a lot of kinks, and it was actually already breaking me down what he was doing to me in the bedroom without even us involving money in it. Before even he said anything like that, he was already breaking me well down. And maybe he was knowing what he was doing, maybe he was not. That's why I'm doing this, because some people, they don't know what they're doing, and some of us need to speak so other people will understand. People who go, because the real thing is, there's a lot of prostitutes out there, there's a lot of men buying prostitutes, and there's a lot of men selling girls. So we need to speak. I need to tell. It's not a pretty woman story. It's not like that in real life. And so the men who think they can just buy women and it's okay, and the men who think they can sell them, need to find out that this is a very hurtful business. This is not a way of living. And if it is, then go sell your own butt. Sorry, I'm saying. Then you will maybe understand. But never sell anybody else. Never think you can do everything to somebody just because you paid somebody for it. When a lot of the time, even the girls don't even get the money or most of it. Because trust me, when he sold me, he got all the money. I didn't even want to receive the money in my hands, because I wanted the customers to understand I was not liking it. And he was forcing me. It was all his idea and his business, not mine. I was the victim in it. But people don't see the girls as the victims. People see the girls as the slut, as the person to use, as the person to blame, and the victim blaming is hard and is very real, and I'm getting it. I was getting it from him, and I'm getting it from people who maybe go to prostitutes who are triggered by what I'm saying, former customers. I have, this is like a curse for life. You need to somehow try to figure out how you're gonna live in this world now with what you have lived, and how you make a life of this. You have to be strong, and smile and just keep on going, and people just don't understand. But yeah, he was nice and kind. He was just like, and that stuff I know a lot of girls have tried, that they maybe give men sex even though they don't want to, or feel like when you this is the biggest mistake in all this from my side I see now, is that we way too fast engage in a relationship, and instead of me seeing it as a warning sign that this man is too involved too fast and seeing it as him being controlling, I saw him more as being like helpful in the beginning, and that he tried to do me good, and I didn't just say no enough, so he kind of broke me down. And I was already a young, poor and broken girl when I met him. I just like had a facade when I tried a job, or tried to school, smiling and happy. It was like the best me, but it was like who I really want to be, not really me. And I still do this sometimes, because I want to treat people as I wanted to be treated. So sometimes I go out in the streets and smile to the people I pass by, because I have tried so many times being ignored or being spoken down to, or like being mistreated. So I really try not to mistreat people. I fail, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I yell, sometimes it will come out on a person who does not deserve this. But I have this, that I want to be nice to people. And heard this, fake it so you make it. And I did this before him and with him. And I'm still struggling with probably showing my face. I'm an honest person, but I really fast like adapt a smiling face. And people think I'm just fine. Everything is good, but it's not. And it's okay that everything is not good. It's okay that I'm just here and survived what I've survived, and all the other girls that they are still here trying to make a life after this. If they ended in this industry themselves, or was forced into it, or whatever, they're struggling, and they need understanding, and I need some understanding and some peace. But yes, it started with the swinger stuff, and as I said, I was already struggling, had no family, no friends, was actually homeless, was like here a bit for some cheap money for a short time, here a bit, and I knew my money was finished, and I could not stay a month more even where I was at that moment, because I paid a little bit money for a friend who was struggling herself, so I couldn't stay there, especially not if I could not pay, because then maybe she would end homeless because of me too. And my sister even done it to me earlier, when she made me homeless because she didn't pay when we were supposed to live together. And friends both after and before this, so I was like, I need to sleep on the streets, be already homeless again. And I knew the couches were less and less. I didn't have many friends in the beginning or family, but I couldn't just like, I knew I didn't want to be on the streets, but I didn't have a place to go. And this guy I broke down when he visited me in at the place I was at the moment, and I told him that I cannot stay here and I don't know where to go. I don't have any money, and he had a car, and he explained he didn't have money to help me, but he was just in between jobs, so he would find a job, it would be okay. Me and him would be boyfriend and girlfriend. He would help me, take care of me, and he tried to comfort me, and we drank together, I remember, that day. And he probably wanted to go to the swinger club again or whatever he wanted. I don't even remember. I just remember it was our first fight, and it was because he mentioned it. He told me. I don't even remember this. I will not speak lies. I will not invent what I don't remember. So I will admit I don't remember like in details this night. I remember that in these conversations some big warning signs came and I ignored them, and I acknowledged this from my part. Or I didn't ignore them. I like gave him a chance again. He became. It became a bit obvious for me, like that he was very much controlled by lust, by money, by sex. And he, in that all night, in the conversations we had, we even had some fights back and forth. He said that we do it anyway in the swinger clubs, which was actually something I would like to, for him to show me it wasn't necessary to be with me, that I was enough, and even if I didn't have sex with him, it would be enough. But I felt he would leave me, and I was just not in a situation to be alone, to be honest. But maybe being alone would have been better for me. Can always be smart after the fact, and judge if you were not there. And I'm sometimes even judging myself, even though I was there. But he mentioned that we could earn money like that. Some people do that, and I got actually very upset with him. And I don't really remember if I asked him to leave and then he came back a different time and I'm mixing two nights together, or we got in an argument. Yeah, I think he came a second time. Then I think I said no and got angry with him, and the fun was over that day. And then he came a few days after, and I was already struggling. I had a kitten, I had a cat. My cat that actually died last year, I already had her then. And I was struggling. I didn't know what to go with my cat and me, and the school, I stopped going there, so I knew I wouldn't get the next paycheck time. I wouldn't get any money to even pay for the small room that I know I could not stay where I was anyways. So yeah, he came again, I think it was like that, and he actually at first apologized and I forgave him, and then we drank again, and he said it was just a stupid idea, he just wanted to help and he had something to drink or whatever. He like, I know it sounds, how can you even explain that away? How could I always then forgiving him and giving a chance again? But I did. And as the night like continued, he explained it was about the money and it was just a desperate, stupid idea. And then he got into some sexual stuff again, said it was because actually he would like to try to be with a working girl and he haven't tried that. So that must way to after us, or maybe never happened then. He like blamed me. I felt like guilt the way he spoke to me. He used my guilt against me. So I was like, forgetting how I was feeling, what I was needing, I was starting to thinking more about what he was needing, because that's how I've been groomed from my mother already. I felt she just had kids to make them clean the house and go for groceries and to yell at and... Oh, sorry. I was like, my mother was... Not a mother, the only mother I ever had was my grandmother, which I lived from 0 to 7, and she was nice and kind, but my biological mother, she was just broken. She was just not a mother type. It's the nicest way I can explain her without just like speaking shit about this woman. But somehow this conversation came up again, and he said it was about money and it would be good money and I would not be a prostitute, but he like had this fetish that he would like to try to be with a working girl, and it will be probably just easier, a better, just if I could be the girl he tried to be with that was a working girl. And actually I think it's lies. I think he has been with working girls before. He knew way too much about the words and saying and where to do what, when I think back. So I don't know if he sold somebody before me. I don't know if I was the first or last. I really don't know. I just know my story. I really hope in a way I was the first and last, but I don't know. I don't know. And it can just make you think. But he convinced me that I would not be a prostitute. We would just be a happy, young, fresh swinger couple. And why not be swingers and then just earn a little bit just so we have enough money for deposit for an apartment. And when we have an apartment, he would find a job and you would be the provider, you know, be the real man. You would show me, you know. And he sugarcoated it so much, saying like I could be a part of choosing the man. You would not just sell me, like we would do a threesome, and probably just like do it one or twice. He actually just convinced me to do it once, and he promised me it would be for a lot of money. So we probably almost have a deposit at that, so I wouldn't have to be homeless. And then, you know, he would figure all the other stuff out with the work. And yeah, I wouldn't just be that prostitute he would sell. We would be there together. It would be a threesome. And any moment, if I would regret, say stop. I think he said the code would be if I really not want to do it anyways. If I don't feel. First of all, he needed me to. He made me say yes. He like kept speaking to me about this till I actually said yes. And I should just have kicked him out then and said, better be alone, better just pack my stuff, go on the streets now. But I have already been like raped since I've been homeless before. When you just couch surf or have a night out, I have already tried to be raped, used and abused without even getting shelter for it. So in a way, it made sense. I was like, okay, I can have this loving boyfriend who loves me and is there for me. I'm not alone. We will have an apartment soon and he will find a job. So it will be a sacrifice like worth it. It's not. I don't know. But in that moment when you are in your early 20s and this is the only adult in your life, and he was like 31, 2 or 3. He was like about 10 years, maybe a bit more older than me. He like convinced me that this is a good idea. And somehow in my stupid head, I thought nobody would pay the amount we agreed upon to be my like debut, as he called it. He wanted 6,000 Danish crowns. Actually, I said 10. We couldn't find anybody for 10. And then I think we agreed on 6,000. So he kept like pushing my boundaries, you know, doing more, be cheaper. And I don't even know why I was letting this happen, why I was even believing in some of what he was saying, why any of this was making sense. But I was in a desperate situation, not feeling well, haven't been sleeping long. So I know this is very hard for people to understand. I sometimes still like don't understand myself. So I kind of understand that people don't understand. But it's okay not to understand. We don't have to hate each other and like guilt trip each other and judge each other and try to text to people. Like when girls like me speak, dear people, please, sometimes it's better to just say nothing than say something, because trust me, most inbox messages, I have judgment, I have hate, I have a lot. This costs a lot to speak. Not even the fear of the man and men who've been using you and the men who sold you, just from the general public, it's really hard. So be kind. If you don't have anything nice to say to a woman who says she been sold or in prostitution or a sugar babe, please say nothing. You don't know when the comment is the one too many that will make her do something stupid to someone else or to herself in a desperate situation, because she's just so tired of life. And in many ways, I'm still just very, very tired of life, even though I'm out of this industry. So just be kind. Have questions, I will answer if I can. Just don't judge, don't come with the hate, don't come with the mocking. Just that's the only thing I just ask of you guys. But in the end, he found a man on the internet. He just as I found him as a dating profile. I don't even know, it was some dating sex sites he just used, not prostitution sites, just where people hook up and meet. I think maybe even the site I met him on, a Danish site. Maybe he made profile some other. He made like a couple's profile, just like we did a couple's profile swinger. And yeah, and he found a man, and I like thought in my romantic little stupid head that when this man comes to the place, the basement, when we were going to do this, it was like a basement room. There was like a bed and stuff. It wasn't like looking like a terrible brothel or anything like that. But the place I was for the rest of the month at that time. And this man came, and I thought he would probably get jealous when he came. He would not go through with it, and he promised like we had the safe code. He said it's also a code they use in swinger clubs often. If something is not right or the one of the partner is not enjoying themselves, they say, "I need to drink. Do you want to drink some water?" And he said to me, "We could use that. So if I'm really feeling like this is not, I cannot do this, that I should just say." Look him in the eyes, just say, "I need something to drink," and he will understand the hint that he should rise up with me and we should take some water and then we should finish this off and ask this man to leave. He would do that. He would protect me, he said. But I did reach out, in the situation escalated, and very fast this man wanted the sex, even though I also said I want to drink a little bit before. That is the thing, guys. If you need to like drink alcohol or take drugs to pull yourself together, to encourage yourself up to do something, you should not be doing this. You don't want to do this, and people who want to do something to you and wait for you to get drunk or be on drugs for them to do something to you are predators, are evil, or led by their lust, not by love for you. That is not love. A man who sells her girlfriend and knows she doesn't want this, and helping her to get drunk or wasted, gives her wine, whatever, to make her go through with this, is a very wicked or a very lost man at least. So don't drink to do something. If you will not do it when you are just yourself, it will not help that you drink. It will not help. It will still be terrible, and you will still remember some of it, and it will still hurt your soul. It will. I tell you that. That's the honest truth. No matter how strong I might seem, some days when people meet me on the streets, it has been very damaging, this industry. I tell you this. But yeah, I do this. You know, I want to get out of the situation and wanted to have a happy end for him to say sorry and find a job and figure something else out, because I'm already like emotionally invested, and he claims he's emotionally invested. But when I look back on it now, I think that wasn't love from his side, and I didn't even know what love was and what it was supposed to feel, because I never really had it before. Never. My 2 boyfriends before him were not selling me, but they were not true love either. They were also selfish, driven of what they wanted, and they liked me when I cooked and cleaned and gave sex. But when I was tired and sick and I needed help, they were not there. Then I was alone. And the same with this guy. That was not love. Same with my mother and father. You know, I did not know what true love is. I really didn't. Even though some say, okay, when you are 19, 20, 21, 22, you should know by now. I should. And it's very sad that I didn't. The only love I had was for my grandmother that was already dead when I was 13. And I just lived with her from 0 to 7. Other than that, visited her back in Poland. And I was brought to Denmark with my mom. And when she died, I ended in orphanages. And yeah, even in orphanages, I couldn't even bring my cat there. So I already like was homeless as a teenager just to like keep my cat. I also saved out of the situation at my mom's apartment that she actually brought home, but she wasn't taking care of the kids probably or the cat. So I was taking care of the cat. It became my cat, and I took him with me, of course. And later in life, in this situation when I met this guy, it was a different cat. It was a girl cat that just died. But that's all I had was animals sometimes, and that's also the problem when you need a shelter. That most shelters in Denmark, they don't take immigrants, or they don't take you if you have an animal, and they all actually take about 3,000 crowns. So you need to have money for that as well. And I didn't have that money. So I didn't really feel feel I have a choice. And I hoped actually when he was lying there, seeing her girlfriend being like somebody was trying to take her, taking her clothes off and being with her, and him being there, he would like stop it and get jealous, but he didn't. And he didn't notice I was not comfortable. He didn't notice I was trying to like signal to him I want to, or he did and just didn't care, because he knew what he was doing. He knew he didn't love me. He knew he wanted the money, and he wanted sex and he wanted money, and he was about to get both. So that's how it happened. He lured me in through this threesome, and already this first time this happened, I was so broken. I was already like broken because I felt like my limits, my personal space was not accepted in life by parents, by family members. Yeah. But when you are like being sold your first time, and you know you are a product and this is for money, and your boyfriend just sold you, he was just participating in you actually feeling raped, and he getting money of that and just being so happy about it while your soul is breaking. I was just so broken, and I should have run there then, and knew it would continue, because very fast he was just happy about the money, just ready to use it and go party. And very fast it continued. He did keep his word that with that money, and I think he then lended some money from his father. And why he couldn't just lend the whole money from his father then to get this apartment, why he had to partly sell me and partly lend some money, I do not understand. But yeah, I was thinking maybe because it's not enough, he doesn't want to sell me again. I don't know, I was like explaining himself in my brain already, because I don't know why. Actually, I don't have good answers to this stuff, but it happened that we moved in together, but he also moved me away from everything I knew. He wanted to live around this area he was from, and he had a mother and a father he was in contact with, and his mother or father had lended him money to get his apartment. So, and I had no contact with any family at that point. The only person in my family I wanted contact with was already long dead, and I was from Copenhagen, and he was from a bit different area. So even the few friends or people I knew and streets I knew, he just uprooted me and took me. And the apartment he found was just like in nowhere, in a house we rented. And very fast it became obvious this man is not looking for a job. And when we moved in together, he's like, he shifted. This kind, funny guy turned out to be not so funny, not so kind. It became obvious when we now was together 24/7 that this man was very, very mentally disturbed. That he was first of all, an addict. He was an addict, so he was not up for going out to find a work. He just wanted to party, take some drugs, and he needed some fast money for the drugs. And it became obvious he already was a criminal. I found out he already did a lot of stuff, and I was like, who is this guy? I didn't know how dangerous he was or how dangerous his friends was. and I started meeting some of these parties and some of his friends, and even one of his best friends I met very fast. He had been in jail for murder, and when he comes out and I make dinner for him and us, and he joins us for dinner, they were like joking, laughing about him being a murderer. And yeah, the sad stuff is it didn't stop. It didn't stop with the swinger clubs. It continued, and it continued with the money, and continued, and it continued in a way he tried to make it look like we were a happy young couple just making a few bucks to the side so we can survive, because while he was looking for a job or while I was studying, he said to people, even though when I was not even studying anymore at this point, I was just a full-time prostitute providing for me and him, and the men were just in the end just going in the house and giving him money, then going in the bedroom, then leaving in the end. I had no say in it. I had no if the money was mine. It was up to him how he tried to like sugarcoat it in the beginning, say we will only do it sometimes, like once, twice a month, and take a lot of money, and it would be something we do as swingers, not you. But very fast, in a few months, the situation changed so drastically. It went from us like being the funny partying couple who needed to earn some money, which was the story he was telling me and himself or whoever of his friend that maybe knew what was happening. And sometimes I don't even know what kind of friends he had. If they knew what he was fully doing and was okay with this and doing stuff like that too, or he was like sugarcoating it for them too and lying or not telling stuff and living a double life. I'm not really sure, because we don't come from the same cities, we don't come from the same friends. So there was even points when I thought maybe this friend, he seems kind, maybe he will help me out, maybe I'll tell him something. I remember there was this one dude that came to the party, and I could see they was forcing him to do drugs. He was not like, and they tried to force me to do drugs too. He was like really fond of drugs and wanted me to try it all, and before him I haven't tried anything, not even cigarettes. I have tried one thing, it was a cannabis cake once, because my boyfriend before him told me I should not judge people who do cannabis, because I did, because my sister did it way too much, and I saw how my mom like just popping pill from the doctor was not good for her. So I was very afraid even of cannabis, and just tried it once in a cake, and because I didn't know it doesn't work right away, I ate too much and I got actually afraid of it. Because I had some situation on it. I was like feeling way, I just like black out, and then first I had like, yeah, it's not about, but I was not for drugs, but he was very, very happy with partying and drugs. My only thing was I drank, not every single day, but often, and when I was sad, that is what I would do even before I met him. And he would like also like to drink often, and she would just, we almost had alcohol at home, and it's just really, that's why I talk about this, because it's not like he said to me, hey, I will take you to a brothel and make you a prostitute. It's not how it happens. It happens gradually, and in a few months, I remember I was just lying there in the bed one day, and I was thinking, prostitute? I ran away from my own mother and chose a life without even a mother, because I did not want to end like her, and still I ended like her. And he tried to make me a drug addict, and I even seen my mother and my sisters do drugs like cocaine, drink a lot. So, and I always like said, this is not for me, this is not for me. But when you're hurting so much mentally and physically, and I was like, I gave you my all, I gave you my trust, I gave you my love, and you just used and abused me and took money for other men to use and abuse me. I was just so broken that I wanted to escape, and he didn't want us to break up with each other. I even tried to break up with him like normally, without even saying. Sometimes I said, we cannot, just need to stop. I broke down in tears or anger, or I said, this needs to stop. But when I like got enough and I got angry or sad, he got angry or sad, and it all like was about him. If I was sad and crying, all of a sudden he was sad and crying. If I said, "Oh, I'm leaving you, I can't do this anymore," he was crying and begging and going down on his knees and crying, looking me into my eyes and promising this will stop, this will never happen again, give me one more chance. And I was stupid, and I kept giving him chances to show me he would do better and that this would stop, but it didn't stop. It didn't stop. It just got slowly worse and worse, and he got worse towards me. It was obvious it was not love, because he raped me many times too. Just took me whenever, whatever. For him, it was like, it cannot even be a rape when you're his girlfriend, whatever, because that's what girlfriends do. They just spread their legs for their boyfriend. That was like his mentality when I was like just trying to insinuate that I don't feel like having sex, not even with others or just with him, a few days. It would not sit right with him. He would get very angry, very upset, very fast, and even violent. So it was not easy just to pack my bag and go. The man would not want me to go. And there was even police involved. I know I tried to call the police once at least. I don't know if they came several times, but once I remember police came, and I don't remember, because I think maybe it was the same day I tried to call them, and the same day police heard like us fighting, arguing. And that was like the main issue we were fighting and arguing about, was him prostituting me and me just being enough with all his drugs. He even promised me when I was looking at the dating site, I even said, I'm non-smoker, I don't smoke cigarettes, I'm looking for a guy who doesn't even do drugs or cigarettes. And he told me he was a former smoker, but he just stopped. And he did not stop. He just tried to stop when he was with me, and when we moved in together, he was smoking all the time, and I cannot even breathe properly when there's smoke around me. I'm not good with smoke. So I was very weak mentally, physically, and all he did in that time, when I said I needed help, I need to go to a psychologist or something, he would go with me so I could say I was sad and about, how my mom and father left me, how I've been homeless and this and that. But he would always just be the savior in my stories, of course, because he was right beside me. He drove to the psychiatrist with me, and he just seemed, he was so manipulative. So he manipulated the police. So police actually left me with him. Police was called and came once, and they left me there. They left me there. 2 cops came and they left me there. That was also very heartbreaking. They did not get me out. They didn't believe me. And I was, like, of course, not saying like everything at that moment, because I knew there was a chance that they would leave without me. And they did. And the situation actually just escalated even more after this, because he started to become like more hateful and resentful towards me and more controlling. So he the internet wasn't working because he went off sometime for some days, 2-3 days, drinking. Sorry, one moment. I'm so sorry, but I'm not good at cutting videos, and I'm crying a bit, and I'm also a little bit sick at this time, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna blow my nose. I'm sorry if this is too much rambling. I'm trying to do this as good as I can. But yeah, I tried to get out. And I even tried. This whole relationship, it lasted for about a year. About a year and a half. Or 2 years, I don't even know. My time, when so much happens in your life, it all starts to just mix up in one blurry bad period sometimes. And that is what happened in this period in my life. And I wasn't on his drugs, but I was doped by the system, because they just saw a very mentally sick girl. They saw me like changing between laughing and crying when I went to this meeting, but they didn't understand why, because they didn't know everything that was happening, and I couldn't say it in front of them. And I'm just so sad that nobody saw it, not one psychiatrist, not somebody saw that we need to separate this woman from this man so she can speak freely. And that even when I tried, the police just didn't believe me and ignored me and left. And he was so manipulative. I remember he like said something, because I was panicking. I was like, this is my chance. So I started like, speaking fast and loud and panicking, get me out, he's beating me, this and that. And he was just so good at being manipulative, basically. And even though police did not get me out this day, I'm talking about, I remember this day clearly, because it became very clear for me how crazy this man is. Because I can forgive a lot of things. I understand I sometimes yelled at people or say something I don't mean because I've been hurting or broken or just wasn't taught to do better, but I was trying. And I actually thought that he was trying. I know this sounds stupid and crazy. I actually like explained him in my head. I thought maybe he was raped, used and abused by his mother or father when he was a kid. Maybe something happened. He is just traumatized. Maybe he's trying to do his best. Hurt people. He doesn't know better. And because he was so convincing when he was terrible, but he was also so convincing when he had the good days. And he had the good days. That is why some women, even though the door is open, and even when they have family and know where they have to go, if they emotionally like engaged or love someone, it's hard to leave, even if they are not making it so hard for you to leave. But I did not even have anywhere to go, and so I didn't really have like a better offer out there. Didn't have a mom or pop or grandma or granddad or anybody, or a good childhood friend or a sister I could like move into. If anything, the sisters I have or were there, if I was a prostitute and gave them some money, or they could live at my house or get some food for free. But when I needed free food, when I needed free shelter, boom, no mama, no papa, no sisters, no nothing, since my grandmother died. So yeah. But what was my point with this? My point was actually, yeah, it was how I saw how he could I learned something from that day. Even though I learned that police doesn't always help, the system doesn't always help, and that hurts. I learned that, and I kind of knew it. I just like took a chance, because I haven't got the right help before either, when maybe I needed it. But this was when I really asked for it, and I thought maybe I just need to ask properly and say it as it is. And I said a lot of things. Not surely sure I that day said he's selling me, he's making me to be a prostitute, but I said he's evil, he's wicked, he's beating me. Right now it was just in a situation when he was grabbing me, didn't want to leave me alone. I wanted to leave, and when I wanted to leave, then he would grab me, and I would try to close the door, like close myself and the cat in, and try to pack my stuff. But he was getting very angry at that, and it was like he couldn't control the anger. It was like a demon took over him. His eyes got all black, and then all of a sudden, when he was finished with me or tired, or I was again like obedient or speaking after his words, he would calm down. But I felt, in all this, I kind of felt bad for him, and also leaving him. So some days I was not even feeling like leaving him. I was feeling like probably some Stockholm syndrome, they call it. I felt sorry and bad for him. But what I got from that day with the police, when the police left and didn't believe me, I saw his eyes. I saw how he could switch on and off this demon of his. So he knows how he can stop. So it was not my fault. It was not that he could not stop beating me, because poor him, he was sick, he could not stop use me and abuse me. I could see how he could be smart and see, okay, with her I can manage her. It's okay to flip out on her. It's okay to hurt her, speak shit to her, hurt her, use her, rape her, and get money for other men to rape her. But just when it knocked on the door, and I remember he looked, we had a hole, and he saw it was not neighbors, but police. He said it's the police, and I was like in the bedroom, just in the room, closed my door, and then I opened when it was the police. I wanted like to open and see them and go to them, and I opened the door, and I just like saw his eyes. Like when he was opening the door, I saw like his eyes, when he was like really crazy, the inside was all black. And sometimes I thought it was because he did all kinds of drugs. I remember when I tried cocaine, my black was so big, but it was like big for many hours and slowly going down. I saw how he was like controlling this demon or this emotion. Like his eyes were so black just from before what was happening, and I was thinking he had blackouts and it was like a mental disorder or something like that. But I could see how, okay, now he registered, not please stop hurting me, please stop selling me my crime. I ask for his mercy and his kindness. That did not help, but that made him angry, and I tried to go away from him, and it provoked him. But when the police came, it was like his eyes, like I opened the door, and I swear to God, it's so many years ago and so much details I cannot remember, but I remember his eyes looking at me before like totally like opened the door and saw them in the face and spoke to them. I saw his eyes, he like looked at me, and they like, and then he found a smile and opened the door. And for me, I could like, it became so real how manipulative, how fake this man is. He was just like crazy spitting and being like a dog, basically crazy dog, just a moment before. And now when the police came, he was like snapped out of it and looked normal, and was, you know, kind and talking, and I was like panicking because he was so cool about it, and I was so not okay because he was starting to get really rough with me, not just sexually, but it was starting to get really physical when I started to say no to all this stuff. So, but I don't bruise easily, and it's obvious he tried to avoid my face and my marking, and maybe not always, because I remember punches to the sides of the head. So I think I was good at using my hands to protect my face and my sometimes when he was getting crazy, I just sat down on the floor and just like shielded myself with my arms and legs. So maybe I got some here on my legs, but not so much on my face. And I had no bruises on my face that day, but he was just being violent. The only thing I had, how I do know I have dreads, but I had regular hair then, blonde or red. I think I had red hair at that time. Red, long, like Scandinavian-ish Polish hair. And my hair was like messy, but I didn't like look beaten for the police. I know that. And I panicked. I said, he's beating me. Just take me away from him. It's dangerous. I just want to get away from this. And they like took it like me being crazy and him being the poor boyfriend with the crazy borderline girlfriend. He just needs to like, and he used all this kindness, why he was in the psychiatrist with me, why he was like telling me to take the pills to feel better, even though I said I don't really feel like the pills. I think if you treat me better, I think if we don't do this, I will be better. Now it makes sense, because that was his plan all along. You know, put it all on me if that would be a situation. That's what he did when the police came. He was all cool, like it was planned in his head, or he was like this crazy genius all of a sudden, because he wasn't really that smart, or maybe he really was. He was just faking. And when the police came, he was just, oh, I'm so sorry, my girlfriend, you know, she's crazy, she has a hard life, she's borderline, she didn't take her pills, I will calm the situation down, I will manage her to take the pill, I'm sorry, if we like made troubles with the neighbors, we will quiet down here. And they left. they were like, good luck to him, and we are not like a taxi service for you, my dear friend. Bye, your problem, not ours. And they left me there. There's 2 police officers. It's more than 10 years ago. If you remember me, if you remember this face, slimmer or red hair, and you left, that was shitty work. That was shitty work to do. I'm just saying, you should have taken me with you. Because you left that day, I was raped so many times more, and all this year or year and a half or 2 years, I don't even know the time frame. I don't even remember it. I don't know how many men even hurt me, used me, and abused me. Probably hundreds. Because it was very little in the beginning, but it escalated. It got more and more and more often. And he was crazy. He wanted shit like gangbang stuff. If it was for money or for his lust. A lot of abuse and rapes I've been through. And I could have been through a bit less if I was actually rescued. But I wasn't. The situation just got worse. So I knew, and I was actually afraid for my life, because he did say stuff. He often did not say, I will fucking kill you. He didn't say like that. But he implied he would kill me. He implied there was no life after him. He implied I couldn't survive without him. So I felt he threatened me. And he was threatening to be with an aggressive. And if you are with a man that can rape you and take money for other men to rape you and can beat you and call a killer his best friend and laughs of it, you have no idea what this man is capable of doing, especially if they do drugs. And it's really hard to like dissociate, like understand what is his personality, what is his best, what is his worst, because it keeps changing. His ideas, his thoughts, what he says, what he promised, what he does, and it just got worse and worse. So I knew I did not want to continue this. I knew I wanted out, but I was actually, because I'm originally from Poland, and immigration laws in Denmark are hard. And even though prostitution is legal in Denmark, it's not illegal if you don't pay taxes of it. And I assure you, he did not pay taxes of it. So I was afraid of being deported. I was afraid of, yeah, I could see how these 2 police officers did not believe me. So I knew, the system will not help me out. I need to get out myself. So I need to come up with a plan. So I started like planning, wanted to like pack a rescue bag and hide it, or have a plan, or just like a note somewhere to when he would next time be, because he was sometimes gone 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, like partying for more than 1 day because he did drugs. And I started at least noticing with who and when, where he was going, when it would mean he probably would be gone more than a few hours. This would be a day or 2 party. So I waited for next moment like that. And I actually once ran away, and stupid told him, bye, you will never see me again when you get home. And he had a car, and I was trying to get trains, and I had to like change trains to even get away. So he found me, and I gave him 1 chance more. I shouldn't. That's also on me. But it of course continued. He was nice for a few days, and then this hell continued. So I got away again, and this time I was ready, more scheduled in my plan, knowing where to go, how, like, this is this train I will have, this is what I need to pack, and to take my cat, and this, and because it was even hard to find the money for the train, because he was controlling all the finances and everything. And even if he did like let me go out to the supermarket like 200 meters from the house, if I was gone a few minutes too long, he would get upset with me, probably because he was panicking I was talking to somebody or getting away. And if I got like 300 crowns to make some groceries, he would like receive the rest of the 20-30 crown I would come back with, or whatever. So, and he knew I wanted to be on the right side of the law. I did not want to like hurt anybody or myself or get deported, or so I didn't even want to go take the train without a ticket. I was afraid to get kicked off on the way, and he would find me or maybe hurt me. And he was getting more and more aggressive and more violent in any way. So I think if I had stayed just a year or two more, who knows if I would even be alive today. It's actually a miracle I'm alive today. I'm not saying it like I'm some special person, but I know it's just a miracle that I'm still here. It's because I don't even want to go in details of stuff I've been through, but I'll tell you, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy before him, after him, especially not what happened with him. But yeah, in the end, I got a plan. I tried to give my biological mother a chance again and reconnect with her and her sister and try to go to their place. But he found out where I was, and I had to change my number. But yeah, I did get away. And he was not happy about it. He tried to find me. He tried to text me. He tried to get me back. It was like the next month or a half year or how long it was, intensive of him just texting me, calling me from his and other numbers. And it actually didn't work out with my mom, and my sister actually told my mom that I broke down, because I was always not speaking with her for years. But I have heard from my sister I connected with on Facebook that she has stopped smoking a lot of weed as she has done before, and she was clean, and my mom was clean, and my mom was not doing any of that bad stuff she did as we were kids. They were living together. I could move in with them, and I knew it was a chance. It was just a chance to get away. So I just packed the backpack and my cat, and I just the only money I basically had was used to get away from him. And I told my mother this, and she did not even receive it well either. She, instead of like comforting her 22-year-old, how old I was then, and say it's gonna be okay, and he's a terrible man, he hurt you, she was like, how did you let this happen? How did I let this happen? How was you a fucking prostitute, I'm sorry my language, and groomed me into this? Why did you give me makeup and your prostitution clothes and taught me from a kid that men are money and we can live without men? And having a lot of men visiting you, and me seeing and hearing all this sex stuff with you and other girls and customers in the brothel home we grew up with. Why did these men or uncles or whoever boyfriends you got home was even looking at me and my sister, and some of them was trying to touch us, and we were telling you your men are touching us, and you would not believe us or do anything about it, or still invite this man into your home and life and your kids' life? But I did not say all that stuff to her. I was like, okay, this is not where I can stay. And she said very fast, she also needs money, even though she had a cheap apartment and she lived in one room and rented the other room at the time to my sister and her boyfriend at that time. She wanted like 3,000 Danish crowns for just like me sleeping on the floor. And we could, maybe the other room my sister and her boyfriend was sleeping in, we could put like some furniture in between, and then they could have a room, I could have a room, and we, my sister and her boyfriend, would actually pay all my mother's rent. So I was like, no, another person who does not love me just want me for money. And I did not have money. I didn't have any social money. I didn't have any of the prostitution money. He got all the money and used it almost right away always. I had nothing. I didn't know where to get the next, cat food for my cat. And my mother was not thinking I need to protect my kid. She was thinking, how can I get some money? So I ended on the streets again. I tried first of all to rent a room at some local alcoholic I met from my mother, and she was just like, really, that wasn't a situation to be in either. I could stay in, and then I ended in a place for a young homeless where you can be max 30 years old, and I got a welfare and helped to get a welfare by some of the personnel because they wanted me to pay the room, so they got me the room, let me in, but said I cannot have my cat here. I didn't have anybody to take care of my cat, so I get a small welfare, but like half of the small welfare went to this room without food that I could not stay in anyways, because I would get kicked out if I kept my cat, and I knew my cat was all that was keeping me alive at that moment, so I was not getting rid of my cat. And first I was so happy I was away and just wanted to pretend this never happened, and maybe that's why I also didn't say as much as I did. But there was a situation where I knew there was a court case because of him, because he was also doing other stuff, and I was called in as a co-criminal when he was robbing houses, because he was robbing houses before me and continued with me, because I didn't want him to sell me all the time, and when I was struggling or was crying, he could not sell me. So he robbed houses, make robberies, and I, in the end, in this relationship, said I'd rather go out with him on the robberies than he selling me, but he still did both. He just used more money, and I went on one robbery with him, and it was one too many. Like a robbery, like when you go into a house when people are on vacation and steal from them, and I didn't want to be a part of it, but it was only me and him, because I think he was also getting greedy. He normally was doing it with a few male friends, not with his small girlfriend, who was not doing well because of what he was doing, of course. He took me with him, and he wanted me to help him to carry a TV and stuff like that, so he made me be a participant, even though I actually was a victim in all of this. But I went to the court case. I said I will not have a court case with him. Let him have his in his city, mine be in Copenhagen. I'll tell you the whole story. I will tell you how it all is. But they didn't want to hear it. The police didn't want to hear it. The court case, when I tried to explain to them why I am not like a normal, like I would not never do this. I haven't done this after him or before him. That I don't do this. I don't steal from people. The only thing I have ever stolen myself is if I had no money at all. Before I even was a prostitute, before I was with him, it was stealing some food in the supermarket. I would not even steal from a pocket, not from somebody's home. I would not hurt somebody personally, even when I stole food in shops. I always did it in supermarket, big supermarket chains, so I knew I wasn't like hurting one person, little private financial situation like a small shop. I was just trying to survive here. So even if I have stolen in my life, it was just to survive. It was just food. It was just because I needed a shampoo or new clean underwear when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and no adult was providing it to me. That is the only thing. But in the court case didn't go. I don't understand. I didn't and still don't understand law properly, and they didn't want me to speak. They wanted me to basically shut up and stay to the case, speak about the case, about the robbery, not of everything else. If I maybe they should have listened a little bit and kindly explained to me that I need to make a separate like case for him to. I didn't understand it was supposed to be a separate case, but I just felt nobody believed me. The court system, the police, nobody. I was trying to tell this in the beginning, so I stopped talking. And I already got a warning where I lived there. I could not stay there. If I kept my cat, I need to sell my cat or give it away, give her away, they said, and I was not doing that, so I tried to hide her in the room. And then I said to myself, they were talking about a lot about the sugar dating at that time, and I was thinking, stupid. So I was also, this is my story. That's also why it's hard, why some girls don't speak, because we get judged from our part in it, but often we did not start that way. But it's the only thing we know to do. When you don't have a job, don't have money for food the next week, or a place to live, you need some fast money, and fast money is either by selling drugs, doing something criminal, or selling your body. And that was the only thing I knew I could do. I knew I was stuck on the welfare with most of the money going at the place and for medicine and for cat food. I couldn't gain money, and I didn't have time because I was already getting kicked out. I knew it was like a question about time, so I was like thinking maybe I should, as some say, and some of the former customers, because he often spoke as me through mail, through these internet profiles, through Facebook, through Messenger, everywhere, just internet. So even when I left him, I had to like leave this business, and all the customers were like writing to me, to my mail, to my Messenger, to my phone, to everything. It's really hard to start over like that. And they were still, I needed money, and they were still wanted to meet up with me. And they thought actually before they were always speaking to me, even when they were speaking to him. He was texting with them or mailing with them as me, or as the couple, or as me. And then if they wanted to call and check if it was me, if it really was a girl and this is true, we're really doing this, then he would give me the phone and like tell me basically what to do, what to say. And in the beginning I started like texting to these people like, leave me alone, I'm no longer a prostitute, leave me alone. But then I was thinking, maybe, as they say in the TV, in the Pretty Woman movie, I just need to find one good, proper man that will take care of me, that has good money. So maybe I just need to, because in Denmark, it's, men and women have to go out and work, the modern family style and all that stuff. So I was like, I just need an old-fashioned guy who will take care of me. And then when I was just back online myself on Facebook and stuff, men started contacting me myself. Some found me on Facebook from this life with him, and some new people who I don't know, who don't know my past like that. When girls are broke and alone, I think this men who want to buy sex, they are looking for these amateur girls themselves on the internet. They try to find the girls just as he found me. They try to find the girls they can sell or use. And you don't even have to have like a escort profile or stand on the street when you sell yourself. You just have to be like a broke young girl, and you will just get messages. Girls that are watching this, that never been in the sex business, will tell me this. Yes, it's true. If they are honest, they will tell you they get messages on Facebook or mail or whatever, on profile or online, YouTube, wherever, where people will contact them and say, hey, do you need fast so much money? You just need to do this and this. And there are also some of those who claim they're sugar daddies, and you get messages like, hey, I'm just an lonely man, don't have time for a girlfriend, but sometimes I would like someone to speak with. And they even say you don't have to have sex with them, but in the end, sugar daddies want you for your body, for sex. They don't just want some stupid young girl to waste their precious little spare time with. I haven't met that. So, but I try to like find just a proper older man than me that was financially stable, who could take care of me. And I thought, okay, that's what we call it here in Denmark. We call it a sugar daddy, because if not, we are splitting the bills, and I don't even have for my own bills. So I got in this business myself, and I thought that sugar dating would be different than prostitution, even though what happened with him, he would not admit it was prostitution. So I thought, yeah, I will find this good older man who will take care of me. And I started dating. I even started making a profile myself online on a sugar dating site we have in Denmark. But most of the messages were actually men hunting for prostitutes, and most of the men who saw me, if they gave me dinner or took me out somewhere, or if they gave me some money, they expected something in return, or they would not see me again. So in the end, I started prostituting myself too. And I tried to excuse it, and I said, this time I'm my boss, I'm my own master. I do it only a few times a month, only for a good amount of money with the man I want to have sex with. But in the end, I had no lust for it anymore. I needed a time of healing and rest, not being used for my body and what I could do to satisfy others. And the problem is no man stayed if I didn't want to spread my legs. So I started spreading my legs and thought maybe one of them would stay and love me and be good to me. But this is not a way either. This is not a way either. Some are less crazy and have less wicked sexual lust and treat you with a bit more respect than others. But in the end, none of the men who ever bought me and used me really loved or respected me for, because I actually had several sugar daddies, but really they want a prostitute. They don't want to give you any money. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to pay your bills. They want. I even met one who was a high-standing, rich politician. And just when he met me at this shelter, he said, just so you know, I don't give money, I don't go to prostitutes, I want to be a sugar daddy. So we go dating and you do what you want and I'll bless you how I want. And even the richest man who was like bragging about how much money he has, and he said, what is this place? Is it a college? What is this? I told him, this is a place for homeless young people. But it's because I don't have money for my own apartment. That's what I'm doing. I actually don't want to be a prostitute. I would like just a normal boyfriend, but I'm struggling and I just want to survive, and I'm not in a mental place to go find a job. You can't even sleep at this place, and I was struggling, back pain, a lot of stuff. My PTSD was getting like really clear at this moment. First, when you go out, when you're in some, I think it's like I met now people who've been in the army and been in war, and I'm not saying it's the same, but I've been in my own war. It's like they feel like fine when they're out on war. That's why they sometimes want to go back there. That's the same with prostitutes, because when I was in it, I could like dissociate from the situation, and that's why sometimes it can seem like you're doing better while you're in this surviving situation, because there's no time to grieve, there's no time, you just need to work, you're just on autopilot, and that's, yeah. So either I was on autopilot, either I was just breaking down, and not really, when I was trying to find a job, I couldn't maintain it, or I wasn't good enough, or I couldn't wait for next paycheck because I was hungry, I needed money for a bill to be paid now. So I didn't manage to raise money for the apartment. Then I ended homeless again, and I've been homeless on and off till 3 years ago. And 4 years ago, I met another homeless man that did not sell me, even though we lacked money a lot of time. The first man that probably loves me unconditionally, my good and my bad days. And I try to paint. I still sell the homeless paper, and I believe God has healed a lot in me. God is good. I have found God, and God is good, and He has healed. I don't believe I have PTSD anymore. I don't believe I have struggling with back pain anymore. But of course, I'm sorry, and I'm talking about it. I will get a little bit emotional. I'm very sorry. And every day, I just need to be my own boss. I just need to have my space, have my rest, and just feel I have my freedom and feel like my boundaries are accepted, and I'm kind of okay. But even the little I would like to work, nobody wants to have someone like me there, a former homeless, a former prostitute still speaking, and her ex-pimp is out there. And even though it's been over 10 years now, and I think he will not come after me, but I have been speaking the last 3 years intensely, telling my story, and I will not be telling it. I think that's the way I'm alive and have like peace with him, because some girls, they get killed before they manage to get out in that kind of situation. I know this. And some girls get killed after because they speak. So I forgave him, because bitterness for myself and the wish for revengement, it's been stealing my life and energy away too. I have wanted to revenge myself. I wanted him to get raped. I wished him so much bad stuff, but I'm done. He never said sorry, and he probably never will acknowledge any of this and say sorry. But I hope you will never do this to any other girl, and I hope any man who's watching this will never go to a prostitute or never try to sell a girl or his girlfriend or whatever. It is terrible. I'm still trying to pick myself up. I'm 34. I still don't have a car or a driver's license or a finished education. I'm struggling. I'm so way behind. And my husband is also a former homeless, and we struggle financially. He cannot work normally either. I can't either, and I just started to sell the homeless paper again and he has a job right now, but it's too hard for him, so he might lose it, and we might lose the apartment again. But I just love that he will never ask of me to sell myself, no matter how desperate our situation gets. And we're trying to get something best out of life. He hasn't had the easiest life either, and he also looks strong and okay, and not as old, as tired as maybe the life he also has lived. He is 13 years older than me, so I am 34. He's 47, I think, or will be. I don't even know, but he's a bit older than me. But he has been homeless also a lot in his life, on and off, and also a lot in one period, many years. So his body is tired. We're both vegans. We don't smoke. We don't do drugs. We don't drink even anymore. Both, even though we did drink both a bit often when you were homeless. We don't drink. We only sometimes use a bit cannabis for pain relief, or just to like ignore the whole terrible world out there. Sometimes just find some peace and rest, watch a movie and laugh a little bit together. That's the worst thing we do. And we don't even smoke the cannabis. We just drink a cacao. And I did get it on prescription in Denmark, but it's so expensive. So people have to. It's just symbolical. The legalization in Denmark is so expensive and so hard to get. And since we moved and got the apartment here, the doctors here don't want to give it, and the whole transportation to Copenhagen, the money for how it costs legally, I'm stopping. I don't have money for it. We struggle financially. We struggle, and I'm sure a lot of the struggle is because I'm not working normally, and if I want to work a few hours here and then, people want me like you just to help somewhere here with the homeless for free a few hours, or help at the church homeless with a church, just like give. But people often don't want like to give you money if you cannot work so much. And I try with art, paintings. You can see a painting there. It's now I really try to find another way to live, and I will never go back to being a prostitute. I will tell you this now. I would rather be homeless again and die on the streets than I will ever go back myself, or ever let a man sell me. Then he will have to like drag me in the car and start beating me from day one, because I will put up a fight now. I was not as good at speaking and saying no then. I'm still learning my boundaries. I'm still learning to say no. I'm sometimes bad at saying no because it has consequences before. So I will not say I have PTSD anymore, because he's not in my nightmares. I can't sleep. I'm not like struggling as much as I have. But life is still not easy. Don't judge people when you see someone's face. Don't just assume if they're not working, they're young or homeless, that they're addicts or lazy. You really don't know their stories, and sometimes we don't have the time or energy or really want to be reminded every single day and keep talking about it. So just be kind to every kind. Those animals, if you would like, that would be very nice. It's very hard to live a life after this, to see how corrupted the whole world is, how many people hurt so much, and how many other people think are good people. Husband, fathers, brothers, uncles, grandparents, politicians, police. A lot of these people go to prostitutes. And if you have experience in this industry, as I have been in it for years, in this and that way, when I was forced or financially forced. There's so much wickedness out there. There's so much wickedness. I mean, to us that try to be good people and try to be truth seekers, we cannot be lukewarm. We cannot say we are good and try to like feed the poor and this and that and then go to prostitutes. If you want to help a prostitute, you do not have sex with her. Do you understand? You give her money, you give her a place to sleep. Whatever, that is help. It is not helping if you have sex with a younger woman to help her to pay off her studies or whatever. She will not finish the studies because she will get broken before she's even finished in school. And I'm still healing. I'm out of this industry already for years. And God has been good because I wanted to kill myself. That's how bad it was. If they don't kill you, you want to kill yourself. And I thank God that he gave me a second chance and that he didn't let me kill myself because I did try, God knows. And he gave me a second chance, and I feel like I owe this to other people, to God, to keep speaking, and I will keep speaking as long as I feel I'm supposed to. And I do share some. That's why I love to take pictures when I get good food, when I'm in a good situation, when I have a good day and I have a smile on my face. I want to remember the good days because I know how easy it is to get in a many, many bad days and how bad days are just easier to remember than good days. That's why I on Facebook have happy pictures of me, my husband, of a new apartment, and people think me just good and I'm just lazy or whatever. I'm trying to figure out life still. And I still, even though I'm 34, like wish I had a mother to call. Like I wish my grandmother still would be alive. It's so many years ago. It's 20 years ago. I think I lost her now. And still I wish I would have her because she was like a mother to call or to visit. Even though it would be back home in Poland, not in Denmark. Maybe I would have never ended in this situation. So desperate that I would do everything for love and let so much happen to me so I would get that far out there. But just don't judge girls who are in the sex business. They are often poor, they're often very alone. This is often not what they dreamt about when they were 6, 7, 8 years old. This is like the last case scenario to survive. Even though when they're in it, and I know that's why I'm sharing this too, because I've been a part of the lies. He has been lying to the customers when I was with him, my former pimp, my ex-boyfriend. And by the way, people should stop saying we should deport a dude like him. Deport that guy, especially here in Denmark. When I say something about him, that is the kind of guy we should deport. Deport him. All this deportation and hate stuff. It has nothing to do with where we come from. Yes, a lot of girls end in prostitution because immigration law in Denmark is so hard that we are not allowed to get welfare the first many years here in Denmark, and we try to survive in whatever way we can, if it is prostitution, if we don't want to go back or have a place to go back. Some of we are like, so when you don't have family and are poor, and are immigrant, you are even more likely to end in this. And if your mother was to, even more. So my odds were very bad. My mother was a prostitute. I'm an immigrant here in Denmark. And in some eyes, I will always be a lesser human. And I get that. People think that. But I at least don't think that anymore. But it was like the grooming from like the whole world. It felt like I was deserving less because I was like, why is it that if you're born here, you can just work. But if you're an immigrant, you need to apply for work permit. If you're just born here, it's okay, you can just live here. If I came as a kid, my mother brought me even here, then I have to apply when I get an adult to stay here, just even though I grew up here. So this immigration laws does that a lot of girls that are in this business are from Poland, the neighboring country that are broke or poor, or other immigration countries, but actually the men who sell girls, they can sometimes also lack money and end this in this industry where they sell them, not they sell themselves, but this is most of the customers are actually local or actually Danish here in Denmark. And in the US or any other country, they're probably from that country, most of them. And most of the men who sell women, I think, and also the one who sold me, he was a Danish dude, you know? So you cannot deport him. The only one who you could have deported in this situation, and they keep doing, is the girl. They remove the problem, not the problem maker. And the problem did not always want to be the problem. Somebody made them the problem. Somebody made them earn the black money, so that's why they need to get deported for prostitution is actually illegal in Denmark. It's the earning the money and not paying like half of it to the government is the sin here, that, you know, we're not allowing the government to be a co-pusher of your sacrifice money. That is actually it. And I was so afraid to get deported, but now I feel like I will not be afraid of get deported. I will not be afraid of this man. And some days fear tries to come over me. Some days it's hard to just go out and smile. It is. I will admit it. It is. But I will not live like this anymore. I have wasted so many years of my life in fear and anger and bitterness of him or the customers or the regime kicking me out. May they kill me. May they kick me out. I will keep speaking. I will keep speaking. So please don't support this industry. And I'm vegan now, and I know for some people they think like this has nothing to do with anything. Girl, why are you vegan? And I'm like, I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like it's okay I tell you this. I feel if you believe in God or not, I was an atheist. I understand that. I'm a believer now, a strong believer now, because I have met Jesus. And now people think I'm really crazy. Now when I think I deserve better, now when I speak my truth, now when I say I believe in God, now I'm crazy. I'm actually in recovery. I'm doing better. I'm saying truth to me. I'm protecting myself. I'm going back to the roots. I'm going back to my one good Father that loves me. And he's telling me, speak the truth. I did not make you survive all this so you can go hide and be quiet, and these men keep on operating out there. He gave me the strength to get out and survive all this, I believe, so I can speak on the behalf of the victims out there. And I think I should speak on the behalf of the woman victim and the animals too, because I see the same wickedness spreading in both the meat and sex industry. A lot of things is happening behind closed doors, and what they show in the televisions or like a glorified, a Disney-fied version of the reality in the sex business and the meat industry as well. And just as it is poor immigrant woman, often, you know, you're not Danish, that's one human, Polish, that's one different human. It's all lies. I'm a human too, and just as my former pimp would never sell his own kid or his mother or sister, I'm sure, there's no reason to sell a different kind of human. And it's the same if you have a dog you love or a cat you love and would think it's crazy, that it would be crazy to like kill this cat or dog and eat them or enslave them in short life in the healing festival just to kill them. Why, please tell me, why is it okay with the cow, chicken, whatever lamb, whatever animal you consume, when you say you're glorifying God, when you have a Christmas dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner, or Easter, what are you really worshiping on that table? Is it pain and destruction, or is it love and life? Because if there's a if there's a victim in what you're doing, it's not done with love. Not for thy neighbor, maybe for thyself. But love thyself and love thy neighbor. Thou human, all kind of humans and all animals' neighbors, we are put here to protect and love the garden and the animals and each other. We're not here to steal, kill, and destroy each other and sacrifice each other or sacrifice animals or innocent blood. That is not the God I follow. That is not the creator God. The creator good God, he created us actually vegan. in Genesis 1:29 is obvious. And that is the thing we should go back to. And just as women are raped and used and abused in the sex industry, animals are raped, used and abused and killed and mutilated in this industry. I am lucky that I am a human. I am lucky nobody cut out my teeth, nobody cut a tail I don't have, or ears, or testicles. I'm not a guy then, but this is what happening in the pig industry in Denmark, in all of Europe, in the US too. The insemination process, guys, the insemination process in milk industry, in the beef industry, and in the chicken, and in the I don't know, they don't inseminate chickens, but chickens like keep making the babies. It's just like a mother who got stolen her baby, she like sometimes wants to overlap the pain and fast get a new kid. That's what the egg overproduction is. It's hurting them, but they keep overproducing because we keep stealing them. And to inseminate a cow, a man needs to put an arm up in the cow. To take the seed from the bull, somebody needs to masturbate the bull. You need to go find out what the sex industry and the meat industry really is before you continue supporting it. That's why I stopped. Around the same time I wanted to get out of prostitution, I first of all stopped sacrificing animals' life for my loss, because I saw I would be a hypocrite, and I'm sorry if this offends you, but I was like, I'm hating this man coming here using me. And I even like once had an apartment and got just got out of the homelessness situation, but I couldn't maintain the apartment like that. And if I stopped and would focus on normal job, I would already not have enough money and homeless. It's like a deal with the devil to be a prostitute or go to prostitutes. And I kind of think the same about the meat industry. I'm so very sorry, but how can you expect mercy if you don't give mercy? How can you expect that God will hear your prayers when you are not hearing his commandments of protecting the earth and the animals we are put here to protect and to love and to care for? All the meat eating is destroying the animals. It's destroying the planet. We are destroying ourselves. God does not need to destroy us. We are destroying ourselves and each other. We need to love each other. And you know what? There's so much good vegan stuff out there. We don't need to eat animals, guys. I'm telling you. Just as you've been so cool listening to this whole story, I'm not saying to people, go be a prostitute, go work at a slaughterhouse. You can read all about the stuff. Ask people who work with this. Watch some documentaries, read some books, do some soul searching, do some, I'm sorry, I'm still not walking so good. Do some like understanding, like in your country where you live, is this how they produce pork? Do they cut the teeth and the tails and the testicles? You will find out this is mainstream in most countries. And is this a thing you would support? Because for me, they're both wicked. I think both women and animals would like to be free and not in pain. And we can eat, you can even buy vegan sausages. You can really you can make vegan burgers. I know it's not 100% the same, but trust me, you are addicted. I was addicted. It was harder for me to go vegan. Yes, it is hard. It will be hard in the beginning. It was harder for me to go vegan than it was to stop taking the pills from the system they told me I need to take for pain, for asthma, for this and that. It was hard to change the whole life around. Getting out of prostitution business was also very hard. And I know some people say, this is my daily bread. I'm a 3rd generation cow farmer. You try to take my daily bread away. That is not an excuse, my dear friend. I was a 2nd generation prostitute and I got out even though I was on the street, and I'm still rebuilding from scratch. I'm doing it honestly and trust that God is my daily bread. And that he will provide, if it's on welfare or if it's from selling the homeless paper or this job Dima has now. we cannot excuse wickedness. We cannot have two masters. We cannot serve mammon, money, and God. And that is what God means, because a lot of people think some wickedness is not wicked when we pay. Just as some people can say, it's okay, it's not okay to rape, but it's okay to go to prostitutes. It's not okay to kill a dog, but it's okay to eat meat. It's all the same, and I hope someday people will wake up, because this world is just so hard for me to live in, knowing with what I know, with what happens out there with both animals and human beings. And I'm trying to focus on the positive. I'm trying to focus on that better days are coming. Isaiah 11:6-9. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for where nobody will hurt or destroy in all his holy mountain, not the animals each other, or humans each other, or animals humans, or humans animals. I'm waiting and praying for God to keep me strong to survive this identic world. And I don't know if I will survive it here, or if I will die before I will get this full freedom and peace and pain to go away from my soul, because my soul hurts. Even though I'm vegan, it hurts knowing that millions of animals and girls out there are being used and abused. And I think the same wickedness as we teach our kids, I don't have kids, but as they say, we teach them this is food, this is not food, this is friend, this is not. It's the same wickedness as kids learn. This animal don't care about that. This you can eat, like a pig. You can just, this is food, eat it. This is food. This is friend. Love this. It's the same ideology we teach kids in homes, where when we say if the parents are racist, or just like fearing something different, fearing their culture will be taken over. This is the same thought, the process we give to kids, like telling them, okay, this animal is least than this, so this needs love, this you can just hurt and use and abuse. They don't really feel pain, it's okay. Just as some people say, Polish girls, they're good prostitutes, it's okay. It's not okay. We're all human, we all feel, we're all God's creation. And God actually created us all vegan, the animals and humans, and all with a soul. We are created in God's image. We should behave like the creator who creates and helps and provides and take care of, and not uses and abuses. We should be the ones ready to sacrifice ourselves to help others. And I have done that way too much. I need to stop. But we need to stop thinking it's okay other people sacrifice. Sorry, my phone was calling. We need to stop wanting people to sacrifice. We need to stop being mad at people. We need to stop being, expecting of others what we cannot give. Love and give love. Don't hurt others. Don't hurt animals. And then love, I hope, and will come, and hurt will stop from your life too. And I do feel a lot of less hurt since I stopped sacrificing animals. Not in a religious ritual, I just stopped eating them. I feel my life is slowly getting better, and it has physically and mentally. I have struggled with a lot of diseases I don't have anymore. This will maybe be for another video, because this is getting long. But please, guys, don't go to prostitutes. Help, but don't use these girls. If you feel the heart for them, give them money, give them shelter, give them food, give them love. But don't expect sex in return. Just don't. Not homeless girls either. Invite them home, but never expect them to give you sex, or that you can just take them. Because even before I was a prostitute, when people gave me a dinner and gave me a place to sleep, and then they tried to force them on me, I had trouble saying no, because I felt like I owed them everything, because they gave me food today and yesterday, and I sleep there. So I even let people hurt me and not say stop when I should have said stop. So don't take advantage of a situation, And that is the same with animals. They are just like kids, like small kids. They need us to protect them, not use and abuse them. So yes, this Christmas, if you're really a Christian and want to like glorify life in Christ, maybe think of how could you do that, help some people, help some animals in his name, share bread, share some grapes, share some fruits. Do you really need to have a dead animal on the table? Do you really need to get really wasted and go to a prostitute when you're party and stuff like that? This is just what I would like people to think about, so we could really learn to love each other more and remember what Jesus taught when he said love thy neighbor, and what he really meant. So yeah, one love, everybody. I know this was a hard one. Don't hate me for it. Have a nice day. Bye.